Hey guys, I guess you should hear me now. Um, we are, of course, meeting here in order to talk about the Miami final. I was also the one who did Indian Wells. I think someone else was supposed to be here with me, but maybe they'll join. Maybe they will join later. I'm not actually sure, but anyway, on my end, everything should be fine. And yeah, soon enough, we're gonna talk about this final, which I think has not really started yet. Like they haven't even entered the court or anything. So this is a nice spot to just talk about it for a little bit. As I said, I did the Alcaraz Medvedev Indian Wells final for a long while, and for most of the event, we were expecting a rematch. I can't really say I'm disappointed that we're not gonna get it, although definitely a part of me is. But then again, Sinner Medvedev should be a very fun affair as well. Yeah, and both of these guys, of course, have looked pretty supreme. I would say, especially Sinner, for whom this is like an unbelievable opportunity to just take his career to another level. Getting that big title is something that he has, of course, been trying to do since, let's say, 2021. He made the final in Miami in 2021, lost to Hurkacz, had a couple of close calls in like the quarters, the semifinal stages. Of course, at the slams, it was only quarters. And this just beating Alcaraz, Medvedev back to back, I think this could be something that would set him up for like a top five season or something like this. It would be pretty like natural for him if he beats Haijon, if he beats Medvedev and Alcaraz to just become a contender for basically everything this year. That's how well he's been playing. On the other hand, he loses this 6-2, 6-4, and we're gonna have doubts. We're gonna have doubts again because, well, Sinner, as you probably know, is 0-5 against Medvedev, which is going to be it's going to be a talking point here, 100%. And it should be. They've only played 5 times indoors, so this is their first match on a different court. Are the conditions better for Sinner in the Medvedev matchup? I think so. But still, he just doesn't like playing Medvedev. He doesn't have the sort of variety that Alcaraz sort of killed the Russian with in Indian Wells, which of course was also helped out by the fact that, the courts in California are so slow, so high bouncing, so not the greatest for Daniil. Here it should be tougher. At the same time, yeah, I just think Sinner has been playing so well in this event that if he just is able to sort of forget about the fact that he doesn't like playing this guy, that he doesn't match up well against him, and also about the pressure, because that's we know that Medvedev is probably going to perform at a decent level. There's just not as much on him here as Jannik, who, well, as I said, I mean, he's going for his first big title, and it would be very understandable for him to just feel some nerves. Hopefully, he's not going to, because we want to see a good final. When it comes to like their previous 5 meetings, basically only one of them was close. And I'm talking here about they're on the court now, by the way, and I think it's Nacho Forcadell is going to perform the coin toss. When it comes to these 5 meetings between Medvedev and Sinner that I was talking about, I think it's fair to say that only one of them was close, even though on 3 occasions Sinner took a set. He took a set of Medvedev in Marseille 2020. By the way, I saw this match live, which at the time it already felt big. Of course, right now it's so much nicer and a great memory for me. Sinner won the opening set so easily, but also was crushed in sets 2 and 3. So that's why I'm saying that it wasn't really that close. Their match at the ATP Finals 2021, 100%. That was as tight as nails, and yeah, you couldn't really tell who was going to win until the last ball, because of course it was a very long deciding tiebreak. And this year in Rotterdam, Sinner also took a set, but after taking it 7-5, he sort of ran out of gas. He didn't really have any chance of beating Medvedev in sets 2 and 3. So that's why, despite the fact that he won 3 sets against Daniil in the past, that's why I'm saying that. Sorry, that basically only one of these matches has been like really close. So that's why is that so tough for thank you for the like, Christina. on Facebook. Why is that so tough for Sinner? I just think that he doesn't really have the sort of variety that Alcaraz has. He very often just plays, extremely good tennis off the ground, but is it enough against Medvedev's defense? We will probably have to see if like Sinner just tries to mix it up a little bit more today. Maybe he doesn't necessarily have it. Maybe it's not a natural part of his repertoire, but it's not like he's not, crazy talented, and definitely can do something that maybe usually he doesn't. His serve has improved a lot, and that's going to be, of course, a huge factor on these courts. Especially, it should be of help for him in the Medvedev matchup, which is just, I think, the key to win here. If he wants to win, he needs to get a lot of free points. And yeah, basically, for example, in that Indian Wells final against Alcaraz, we saw how much Daniil was struggling with either the serve and volleys or the drop shots. Just ways to utilize Medvedev's defensive court positioning against him. And hopefully, Sinner can also produce that. I'm not saying hopefully because I'm rooting for him to win. I'm very neutral. But I'm saying hopefully because we want to see a better final than an Indian Wells, which as I said, I was also doing this stream for the Indian Wells final, and it was over in like an hour and 15 or something like that, and it was largely underwhelming for sure, especially considering what we are expecting from a battle between two such greats. I saw that Medvedev is like a marginal favorite for the bookies, which I don't even know if it's right. Like it's just extremely close. So we're gonna see. Mario says he might be able to join, but he has some electricity issue. So if he is able to join, then of course we're gonna continue this. Yeah, continue the stream together. But if not, I'll just sit here, and you're gonna have to listen to my rambling for the next 2 hours or so, hopefully. And yeah, Sinner Medvedev, as I said, I think Sinner has been more impressive in this event. Uh, Even not only the Alcaraz win, which is big, of course, but also the way he crushed guys like Rublev, Rusevori, Dimitrov, Jared to a lesser extent, but he just never gave them a chance. And if you were to argue that this is the best Sinner has ever played, I wouldn't stop you. I think I would probably nod along, or maybe just maybe glance through his records and think about it, but probably nod along at least initially. And of course, the guy is 21-4 for the year. Medvedev, on the other hand, is 29-3. So these guys have been like the one of the best four players of the year. I think it's fair to say that, along with Alcaraz and Djokovic. And sorry, 28-3. Medvedev is not 29. And what else? Medvedev in this event has only played 4 matches, on the contrary to Sinner, who had to play 5 because Alex Molchan withdrew. Don't think Molchan would have been, much of an issue for Medvedev on these courts anyway. There is a bit of a like a dilemma whether the fact that Medvedev has faced a slightly easier path, whether that actually helps him or not. I'm not sure, because I think there are two sides of this argument. On the one hand, he has played so much tennis since Valentine's Day, which was when this incredible streak of form started. He has only lost once since, of course, to Alcaraz, winning three titles in a row. And on the other hand, so like rest is very helpful to Medvedev right now. That's one thing. But on the other hand, only one tough match against Kachanov, a couple of games like against Alice and Eubanks, where it was basically neutralize the first serve, and I'm through. And Carbines Baena, again, on a very fast hardcourt, he couldn't really pose any trouble. I think the match against Molchan would have been pretty similar. And does being undercooked, come into play here? Possibly. We've seen a few like very lacklusterish performances from Medvedev in finals before. I'm talking about Indian Wells, but also last year. But it seems like he's past, these issues that he had, whatever it was, in 2022. And yeah, I mean, we should expect a better performance from him, definitely. Of course, the courts are just much, much better than for him than in Miami. I think though that yeah, not having like any a bigger test than Kachanov along the way isn't necessarily good for him. But we'll see how that comes out. Of course, Sinner played Alcaraz for like 3 hours on Saturday. Sorry, Friday, and precisely on Friday. So I think with the day off, he should probably be fine for today. And I think Medvedev will be starting this match. Yes, exactly. We're now in the first point. It was actually let his first serve, but we are about to start the final. Hopefully, one to remember. The 2022 one was pretty decent, but nothing to write home about. And the 2022 one final as well, I guess, and the 2019 final. So I guess since the tournament has moved to the other venue in Miami, the Hard Rock Stadium, instead of like Creighton Park or whatever the name was, we haven't really had a memorable Miami final. Maybe this one will be better. And we're in the second point because, well, Medvedev just fired a pretty good serve to get the first one, and already we have some we have a pretty interesting rally with Sinner going maybe, a little too down the middle, and just trying to use some linear pace to get on top of Medvedev, but he fails to do that. Daniil actually found a pretty good forehand up the line and then followed it up to the net. If like of course I'm not gonna go into some huge thoughts after the first point, well, second point, but the first rally, which was by the way 19 shots we see on the screen. But this is exactly how Sinner isn't supposed to play today. But of course, on Medvedev's serve, it's gonna be a little tougher for him to just introduce whatever his game plan will be for today. He has a great coach, of course, there in Cahill, so I'm pretty sure that there's going to be something exciting to watch for in terms of the tactics as well in this match. And Medvedev is very swiftly 40 love up. Sinner got a very deep return in, but failed to capitalize on the response from Medvedev. It like clipped the net and went out. So it's a very quick hold for Medvedev. We do expect, plenty of these for sure. So we'll see. I see Ghosties in the chat. I was scared that you weren't gonna be here after the first 5 minutes. I was like, maybe he has some electricity issues, but thankfully not. If Carlitos doesn't have cramping problems, is Sinner in this match today? Okay, you mean in the third set? Um, Tough to say. I think the cramps mostly started in the third set, right? So we can't really know, but I think he had a fair chance. Even their Indian Wells match, which I know you didn't really agree with. Like you didn't really agree with this opinion when we were talking about it on the previous stream, but I think it was closer than it seems. But of course, it has to be said that Alcaraz had these two breakpoints or three breakpoints. I can't remember. I think two breakpoints at like 4-3 in the second, and this is something to look back on for him. I don't know. By the time they reached the third, I think even without the cramping, it was, if not 50-50, it was like a 60-40 Carlos. So who knows? Would I like Alcaraz's chances today better than I like Sinner's? Probably, yeah. Still, even though it was Sinner who won on Friday, but maybe if Alcaraz makes it through with the cramps, he would have also been fine, right? Because of the day off. And Ghosty also says he loves Molchan. He can stay healthy, make a breakthrough. He's no longer a young guy. Yeah, that's true. He has been like a bit of a late bloomer. Even though it sounds weird to say that about like a 24, 25-year-old, but today we've had a 16-year-old win a match in Marrakesh ATP 250 qualifying. So I guess Molchan is a late bloomer if we're talking about these sort of standards. And Sinner gets a couple of points in his opening game. Also, nothing crazy so far. There was just an unforced error of the Medvedev forehand. I guess against Alcaraz, he was like going with a lot of pace into the Alcaraz forehand. Perhaps not necessarily the other way around, because well, that's something that was a big difference between the Indian Wells and the Miami match. I guess that Sinner wasn't pulled wide to his forehand corner that much. Medvedev, it's not really an issue, I suppose. Whereas sometimes for Sinner it can still be a problem, but I think against Medvedev, of course, it's not really the type of opponent who can, who can do that to him with enough violent hitting, let's say. Another pretty like standard rally with Sinner not doing much to open up the court, and he makes an error, so it's 30-15. Did you really like the Indian Wells match more than the Miami? No, I mean I just said that was closer than the scoreline suggests, or whatever. I did not like the Miami match more because, well, sorry, the Indian Wells match more. But it was, it was pretty close. It maybe the quality wasn't as good. Definitely not. I just think it was yeah, even though a straight set win for Alcaraz and etc. But I would say it was just a little closer than it seems, with Alcaraz basically edging that opening tiebreak only on that forehand defensive get at 5-4. By the way, Alcaraz had such an incredible chance here to win the Sunshine Double without losing a set. Of course, he needed to beat Sinner for that, but he was very close to a straight set win. And then you just need to win one match. But yeah, that's gone. I think as far as I've read, I think no one has ever done that actually. Everyone has who won the Sunshine Double has always lost at least one set. Sinner misses a bit of a sitter, although it was complicated with the ball basically clipping the net and just landing in a bit of an uncomfortable spot. Still a sitter, I would say. A sitter and Sinner are very similar words. But he gets another game point and shanks a forehand after a fairly deep forehand return from Medvedev. We would like to see an easy hold here for the to ensure that the match is competitive for sure. Man, that shadow right down the middle of the court. Let me see. I didn't notice it, and right now I'm on my stream. There's they're just showing the crowd, but yeah, I guess my stream has like weird colors because I don't really see that. But anyway, there's of course deuce in the opening game on Sinner's serve and the second serve, and that's I guess where it's really gonna be exciting to see what he's gonna do in these rallies when it basically starts from neutral after Medvedev's serve. Medvedev's return. Ooh, and there's, I guess, the first creative idea from Sinner with the drop shot. Don't think it was well executed, and I also don't think it was the best moment. We could see that Medvedev was making a run for it long, long before, before it was even about to cross the net, but eventually it just landed in it. So there's a breakpoint already in the second game of the match, and yeah, that would be a pretty sad beginning to this from Sinner. But hopefully he wouldn't really be, he would still keep his hopes up. And so far he does with just a good first serve, which Medvedev couldn't handle. He sort of got it at the body and never made the right adjustment. So we're still at deuce in that opening game. Breakpoint saved by Sinner. He will need to win another second serve point here, though, because that one was really far wide. Yeah, I mean, he just rolled it in, but of course, with Medvedev standing so far back, it does not really matter. I mean, you just don't get any advantage out of it, but I guess it doesn't really matter. Daniel isn't gonna step into the court and just take it early and blast it for a winner or something. And this time, Sinner forces an error out of Medvedev. Some very good depth on the backhand. Also down the middle, he has been playing some a lot of stuff into basically Medvedev, which is probably a fair tactic as well. Just gotta mix it up a bit. And he did try that with the drop shot. Of course, it didn't pan out. And now we have another second serve point because, well, so far in this game, Sinner has struggled to put his first in a little bit, and that, of course, is going to make things a bit tougher for him. But as long as he's winning these neutral rallies, and they're now going at it pretty heavily. Very good defense from Sinner on the slide, and he still is in this one. Tries to make another forehand on the slide, but this one he just went for it. He just went for it down the line, and it goes like a meter long. So another deuce. Yeah, you guys know already that I sort of like to see just a game or a game and a half out of a match and start making some claims and just pretend that I already know what is going to happen. My first impressions aren't great for Sinner, but we'll see. But I guess if he just makes more first serves, right? If he just gets more out of that, and that's exactly what he did here. Although it wasn't exactly like it wasn't really unreturnable or something like that. It was still it still forced an error out of Medvedev. 8 minutes in that game already. Of course, yesterday in the WTA final, we had the 22-minute tiebreak between Kvitova and Rybakina. Games have gone on longer than that, but Sinner will try to make sure that this one does not. Again, a second serve though. He tries to. A couple of times already in this match, we've seen like Medvedev trying to get Sinner into these backhand to backhand cross court rallies, and Sinner very quickly breaks out of them. Another one here. They're still going, so this match will clearly be pretty physical as well. Maybe even edging that 19 shot rally they had already in this game, I think. But Sinner also loses this one. It's kind of unclear even what he was trying. Yeah, 25 shots here. It's kind of unclear to say like what he was even trying to do with this last shot, frankly. It could have been another drop shot attempt. And this is, of course, his second one in the match. If so, we also have the stat for points won over 9 shots, which is, I think, all of them in this game. Maybe there was one in the opening hold for Medvedev, and it's 5-1 for Daniil. So that kind of tells you how these longer patterns have been working out for Sinner so far, or haven't been. But another first serve brings out an error. Again, it wasn't really one that usually makes Medvedev miss, though. So I guess this is going to be a nice thing also to watch out for going forwards, because in that Indian Wells match that we were just talking about with Alcaraz, that was probably like Sinner's worst serving performance in the past, I don't know, 10 matches or so. So it's going to be interesting to see if maybe something like that is going to happen here as well. But of course, it's just, he's just put like 10 first serves in. This one was actually really good though, and he serves he wasn't planning to serve in volley, but when he saw the return, he was sure that he had enough time to come in, and definitely did. So it is 1-0. This is Mehdi's last match for a few months. I mean, he tends to just chill on the clay, rather play. Yeah, I was thinking about this for sure earlier, but the other way around, where maybe if this is his last event until the grass, or maybe the last match for I don't know, until Madrid, until Rome, until Roland Garros, whatever he decides to play on the clay, maybe this actually also adds the pressure. Um, I guess it can kind of work both ways, but you're definitely right in the fact that if there's going to be like a late third set, Medvedev is going to give it all. But I think the same goes for Sinner, right? It might not be his last match or like the last match he truly cares about for the next couple of months, but he is going to, like, even if he's playing Monte Carlo, he's playing for his biggest title. So I think the motivation will be at its highest for both guys, 100%. Do you all see the white stuff on Mehdi's right arm? Is that talcum powder that he partied with Richard Gasquet? Oh wow, maybe he was the one who kissed Richard Gasquet and gave him that. At least, of course, that's the story. Yeah, I guess it's like the Andre Agassi. The when he used to sit in the sit in the crowd, when he was a coach, and wear a lot of sun cream. Maybe that's it. Yeah, and Medvedev cleans up another very easy hold, which of course is going to boost his confidence and also make Sinner a little bit tired because, well, serving is more exhausting, 100%. And we have, yeah, 2-1. I'm gonna quickly check that first serve percentage for Sinner in that first game, which of course was just one game. But I just wonder how high it was. 57%, 8 out of 14. So definitely not as poor as it seemed. Just watching it. Maybe he had a few in the first couple of points, and that sort of clouded the impression that we had. But anyway, of course, Medvedev has still not lost a point on serve after 2 games. Sinner had to win a very tight over 10-minute game, but so far there's still, well, technically level. In tennis, there's still level. In many other sports, Medvedev would be up, but that's not how it works here, I suppose. After this, also there's the Miami doubles final on the WTA side. So if anyone wants to watch that, I'm probably not going to, but if anyone wants to watch that, just feel invited to stay on your streams and see the battle between Goff Pegula and Fernandez Townsend, which should be pretty exciting. Definitely some of the best pairings in the world. Fernandez Townsend, relatively new one, but no one has to convince us of the fact that Taylor Townsend knows how to play doubles. And yeah, Jannik Sinner is already almost at the service line, getting the balls from the ball boys. So we're starting the fourth game, and this maybe will give us some more info on how this match is gonna go. Yes, someone on Facebook is asking me for a comment about Reda Benani. So I'll just quickly write him that he's like 30th in the junior rankings. Yeah, again, when Medvedev sort of tries to lure Sinner into the backhand to backhand cross court rallies, Sinner is very quick to break out of them, but this time not. This time not. He was unsuccessful. He netted the shot, and we also have an unforced error stat on the screen, which tells us that Sinner has already made 12 of them, and Medvedev made 2. I guess that's kind of high for Sinner. I don't know if that's right, but maybe it is. Definitely a lot of these, over 5-shot rallies have ended with the Italians' errors. Now it's Medvedev who tries to just lock up a huge forehand down the line, but also just misses it, just like Sinner did a few points back. Oh, Sinner had a great serve out wide, which like really pushed Medvedev far outside the court, and just was afraid to take it down the line, I suppose, and looked for a very sharp angle, which was frankly a little reckless. Definitely did not have to do that. And yeah, I just missed it by a pretty wide margin. Still not getting that much out of his serve. And the second, well, he's gonna have to serve for the second time here at 15:30, which is never really a good sign. And we've got another longish rally, but this time he pushes Medvedev far out wide with the forehand crosscourt and gets an error. This was a very nice injection of pace for sure. Okay, I've already informed the people about Reda Benani, so I can fully get back to watching this match. And yeah, Sinner gets this time a fantastic first serve, but of course it comes back. He's playing Medvedev after all, but he forces out the error with the next shot. Just a pretty good plus one. He was getting over to the net quickly. So finally getting a bit of boost from his serve, even though of course he had to still play one more shot, but was in a very advantageous position. Medvedev also tries to like go for a pretty huge backhand down the line here, but misses it, and we're dead even again, 2-all. What else was on the chat? I'm gonna check. John is saying that Goff is a big name despite 5 letters. That's funny. Open is such a good book, says Ghost. Yeah, that's true. Absolutely. Um, I also haven't read that Clary book on Roger. Today I've read some very big criticisms about it, saying that it's basically more about the author than Federer himself. I have no clue. I haven't read it, but yeah, Open is indeed. Yeah, it just reads very well. I know. Like non-tennis people who have read it and just enjoyed it a lot, even though there's plenty of match talk in there. But for sure, it's pretty fun. I think I've read it both in English and in Polish, I believe. And yeah, it's definitely well. One thing is well written, but also has so many good stories that don't necessarily even require you to be a tennis fanatic, but also from like a psychological standpoint, it's certainly quite interesting. Medvedev must be happy with the start, says Matthew. Already settled into the type of exchanges he enjoys with Sinner. Absolutely, yeah. So far, we've certainly played a match which Medvedev wants to play rather than Sinner. This serve was really out. I thought this was like a JJ Wolf who was mentioned in the chat. Serve down the tee from Medvedev, where like the ball just completely flies away from you. And actually, he didn't make it apparently and committed a double fault. So it's 30-all in the 2-all game. Haven't even read the rest of the chat, but I will do that after this game, I suppose. Which we are at a second serve now for Medvedev, but he risks it quite a lot actually. Still, Sinner got a great return back. Can't really clean up the point though, even though he is okay. That's another great forehand cross-court injection of pace, which we saw like 5 points earlier. Can't remember what exactly the point was. I think it was like one of the last ones in the Sinner service game, maybe the one where he was 15-30 down. And the same thing, basically, almost the same shot brings out another error out of Medvedev here, who was stretched to his forehand corner and didn't make the ball. But he saves himself with a good serve this time. So we're back at deuce. Sinner's lack of prowess in the serve and volley area, and also he's not renowned for his slice. Yeah, he's just not really like he doesn't vary his baseline play too much, right? Sinner, and I guess that's just really good for him. We saw what Alcaraz did with the serve and volley or with the drop shots in Indian Wells, and with Medvedev standing so far behind, you could theoretically say that when you serve at him, like the ball is gonna come back like really heavy, and that's gonna make it hard to control the volley. We don't really see that recently. I think a lot of players have started serve and volleying a lot against Medvedev in recent times, and you don't really see that they're struggling to control that first volley, especially when you serve out wide to the backhand. It's just hard to create anything other than like the crazy return down the line winner, which he sometimes is going for sure, but it's a low percentage shot anyway. Sinner had another pretty good chance at deuce. He was definitely in control of that point, but just netted the forehand, and Medvedev has a game point. This time it's Daniil in control of the point, but of course he can't really do much with the forehand with his technique. And Sinner is just back in it, tries to get to the net. Oh, it was a very clumsy drive volley, but it was actually like it worked out in Sinner's favor because he didn't play it cleanly, and it was so short that it actually struggles to get to it. So the fact that Sinner didn't make it perfectly was actually good for him. So at least that's good for the Italian here. Pretty brave to take it like that for sure. Good to see that this match on Medvedev's serve has started, shaping up, having some colors, and we kind of needed, I think, after the first four games and how they went. The Deuce rally has us just exchanging again shots like more or less down the middle, but luring Medvedev to attack has worked out for Sinner here for sure. He was just getting the Russian the ball back and eventually got that forehand error, which again with Medvedev's technique, it's kind of hard to play shots like that. Just approach shots or try to go for winners with the forehand or to set up easier well putaways for yourself. But again, second break point this game, and for the second time, it's Medvedev's serve, which just bails him out of trouble instantly. This game is already at 5 minutes and 30 seconds, which the last one, if you remember, was the one on the Sinner's serve. The second game of the match went over 10 minutes, so still quite a bit of time to catch it. But it's a double fault from Medvedev, so another break point for the Italian. Interestingly, what Matthew was saying earlier, and I very much agreed with, that the sort of rallies, the sort of exchanges that they were playing were favoring Medvedev. Right now, he's actually the one who's trying to bail out of them, which is kind of interesting. And I think for the first time on game point, on break point for Sinner, it's going to be a second serve for Medvedev. Yeah, can't blame Sinner for trying to be aggressive with it. It just didn't work out. Like 5 meters long, so didn't really yeah, wasn't even close to making it. I think that serve is out as well, so it's going to be another second serve from Medvedev on deuce. Again, he goes for it and tries to play like an inside out, or I guess that would be actually inside in backhand, but nets it. So we've got the fourth breakpoint for Sinner, over 7 minutes in this game right now. Surely he has to take one of them, right? He does not, but definitely nothing to regret here. Just a great serve from Medvedev. Not an easy put away from the backhand, actually. We've seen players miss that a lot of times, and off the backhand, it's pretty hard to play this sort of ball actually with good consistency. But Medvedev just makes sure he does it with a nice direction cross court, and Not much Sinner could do really. So there was just that one opportunity where he tried to step into the return and it didn't work out. But otherwise, Medvedev has been saving these pretty easily. Another one of these inside in backhands from Medvedev, and this one clipped the net, went over, but just set up Sinner for an easy forehand. So fifth break point. 8 minutes already. I guess the TV crew really wants us to see that this game is long because like every single minute we're getting the info that a new 60 seconds have passed. I think that was a let, so it's gonna be a first serve for Medvedev. Once again, he landed his. All of these breakpoints have been on this side, the outside, and he landed the first serve 4 times, including on this point. Sinner really had him here, and he does it. There was a moment when again he was afraid to go down the line with the forehand. He went cross court with a very like in a spot that didn't really make sense. But then he actually followed it up to the net and played a very nice touch volley. And yeah, maybe Sinner isn't as bad at the net as it seems. I mean, of course he's not bad. As I said earlier, I mean he is incredibly talented. Um, Ghosty was suggesting a new drinking game I see a few minutes ago, where everyone takes a shot when Medi actually steps on court during the return of serve. Well, some matches you would land under the table because I remember him just trying to experiment a lot in some of them, but most of the time you're not gonna drink anything. So that's a very poor drinking game, I think. Anyway, when are we gonna write the unofficial Magdalena story? Yes, and so far I guess hey Max, I wanted Carlos to win the Sunshine Double, but like Jannik as well, says Max. Yeah, that would have been a fantastic achievement for Alcaraz, and of course he would have kept up the number one ranking. But at least now, the Djokovic fans can be happy that their man is back at the top. Which, of course, realistically, if he was able to, if Wimbledon awarded points, if he was able to play everything, he probably would have been at anyway. And great cross-court forehand injection of pace, but why didn't he go line? There's been a few for sure where Sinner had a big chance um, to look for maybe the more open down the line corridor. In this particular shot, which I think was when you said that after I quote, because you quoted me, at least unless our streams are like very far away from each other. I think in this particular one, it was actually not as open as in that previous point that Sinner just broke with, but yeah, there's definitely been a few. Is John coming onto the stream once he's recovered from the menu defeat? Did they lose again? Really? I just know about the 7-1, was it? And but John is probably gonna be very angry right now for at me for talking about it. Oh, 2-0 against Newcastle. Yeah, I don't think he is. Yes, John says also that his full interview with Tony Nadal will be uploaded in the next few hours. Keep in mind that you can check that out. I'm sure you're gonna love it. I haven't seen it myself, but it's John talking with Tony Nadal. What else do you want? It's basically like I don't know, Albert Einstein talking with Stephen Hawking. You would love it. Of course, it never happened, but Tony Nadal and John Silk, we could actually get into one room, and thankfully they live in the very same era. And yeah, we'll see how Sinner handles the chance to consolidate this break. I have frankly missed the first point, but in the second one he goes for like a huge cross-court backhand. Still, it doesn't give him the point. Of course, it's Medvedev. And eventually he lands the error. This is the sort of he makes the error. This is the sort of court shrinking that Medvedev is famous for, where somehow he just can't do that. Strange game by Medi, uncharacteristic error, says Matthew. Yeah, absolutely. That Sinner break was weird because he was he was the one trying to bail out of the rallies, which in the first 4 games it wasn't the case, and the results, even though it was actually 2-all, the results were good for him if when he wasn't. And but we can also see that Sinner made up for that 1-5 deficit that he was in the points over 9 shots rallies, and now he's just 4-6 down in that category. He tries another drop shot, which I think would be his third attempt this match, and again it is unsuccessful. This one went over the net, but it just wasn't. It just wasn't good enough, and Medvedev easily put it away. I don't know if it's just some great tactical plan to try to introduce the drop shot more, or if it's just him seeing that the rival is so far out, because of course the players have natural instincts like that as well. But so far he has felt very, very uncomfortable with the dropper. Maybe he's going to tune that in later on. There's a first serve from Sinner, again not really placed that well, but Medvedev makes the error. It's like semi forehand, semi at the body, and we've already seen a few like these from Daniil. It's not a break until you hold serve. Yeah, that is very true. Unless you're like playing, I don't know, Karlovic, Isner, and there's one break a match, then it is very true. And then this one, so far we've seen a lot of play on each other's serves, contrary to like what we were assuming I think would happen. Neither has been at their best when it comes to like spot serving and just finding a number of easy points. Some of that, of course, comes from the fact that they're also good returners. And Sinner nets a forehand, which gives Medvedev the break point right back. This is just the second chance for Medvedev in this match. He earlier had one in that long game, but didn't capitalize, and Sinner made it on his fifth in the previous game at 2-all. Another first serve into that forehand, sort of forehand, sort of body area of Medvedev. This time he gets it back. And they're playing a pretty great rally. Sinner has already landed on the baseline a few times, like landed his shots on the baseline a few times, and is in like control of the point, but doesn't really have an option of finishing it. This one I think he was trying to follow this forehand up to the net, but it clipped the net and went out. So we're at 3-all. And what Matthew said about it's not a break until you hold serve is now ringing very, very true. But I thought Medvedev didn't look great versus Kachanov, but I thought he'd raise his level for the final, especially as it's an opponent he leads 6-0. I think it's 5-0, not 6. But yeah, you're very right that Medvedev has definitely not been the better player out of the two in this event so far. I was talking about it a bit on the beginning of the broadcast that Sinner has definitely displayed the stronger level in Miami, but then again, you can kind of think Medvedev played Kachanov, his friend. They know each other so well. These sort of matches usually tend to be a little weird when you're playing your friend, when you're playing someone you've played a billion times, maybe not necessarily in official matches, but just training or whatever. And also the fact that Medvedev hasn't really had like an opponent like Alcaraz, like even Rublev, like I guess Alcaraz and Rublev, the sort of quality that Sinner has had to face. So it was certainly a bit unclear whether Medvedev would just be able to raise it. But yeah, so far he has not been that impressive. But thankfully for him, Sinner has also had his fair share of issues. And Medvedev is leading the next game 30-love. Seems to be quite humid, I guess, because both guys are very sweaty after 37 minutes of play. Or maybe it's the intensity of the rallies. Oh, I initially read this as I'm being forced into labor, and I started thinking about pregnancy, but okay, thankfully that's not what it is. See, Agosti, have fun. You have fun as well, even if it's labor, manual labor or something like that, not pregnancy. And yeah, Medvedev forces out an error on the backhand slide from Sinner. Definitely both guys looking quite wary already. Sinner's shirt is like very very wet, so I think yeah the humidity in Miami tends to be very high. So no surprises there, I suppose. And of course, it's been really intense. I mean, we're in the seventh game and we're at like 40 minutes, right? So yeah, actually, it's just turned 40 minutes. I think I saw the clock do that, which is funny because I sort of just talked out of my ass. But I guess I probably saw the clock a few games earlier or something like that, so I more or less had an idea of the ballpark. Yeah, nice short point from Medvedev. Just a good serve, then forehand into that same corner, and eventually just getting a short enough return response. And Sinner orders a trainer, I think. Yeah, so him looking where he was not uh, wrong, probably. What's the trainer going to do is the question. So far, they're just talking. Um, I'm not sure what's the deal, what the deal is yet. Very hard to tell, unless someone is a very good leap reader. The guy is calling for someone else even, but it seems like we're going to have some sort of intervention. Do you know what the serve stats are so far? First serve percent. Yeah, sure. I mean, I can give you the stats. First serve percent. They've been pretty much the same, 55-ish%. And Medvedev is winning a bit more points on his first serve, but it's like still the sample size is pretty small. On his second serve, Sinner has only won 4 out of 12, so I guess in that regard he can he is a little behind Medvedev, but it's super close. I mean they've won a very similar amount of points so far, and now what's happening? I think they gave Sinner some peels, um, and he's shaking his water. Yeah, he has just swallowed some pills. Who the hell knows for what? Maybe it's painkillers, maybe it's something. I'm not sure. Um maybe it's just some vitamins. Yeah, no clue. Maybe someone I don't want to talk like that. I mean, I'm gonna see if if there's something like on Twitter about this. Maybe Yannick was given a pill. Yeah, feeling the heat. I guess no one really knows, even while watching on the. I guess no one really knows, even while watching with sound on, what exactly seems to be the issue with Sinner so far. But yeah. Anyway, that it doesn't seem like people know what's happening. He definitely swallowed some pills anyway, so we'll see if this ends up being some sort of an issue that we're gonna have to focus on later on. So far, he's back on the court. Won the first point with a wild, after Medvedev just fired a wild return. Thank you, Marlena, for your like on Facebook as well. Gil Gross and Alex Graskin, they preview said Sinner needs to win 45% second serve return points. I mean, these stats are very relative. Um, with all due respect to, Alex and Gil, whom I both like. They're my colleagues, especially Alex. I work with him, but I think it's when I hear stuff, especially like you need to win 70, like you need to make 70% of your first serves. It's always really relative, whether you actually make it depends on how many, whether you take anything down from like any speed from your away from your first serve. I guess with second serve or second serve return points won, it's a little easier in that sense. But of course, it's also going to depend on how well you do on your serve. If you're just winning, I don't know, 30% on second serve return, but you're winning every single point on your own, then you're going to be fine, right? So far, he is doing that though. Like he is doing what they wanted. But that also comes from the fact that Medvedev has double faulted 3 times. So you kind of need to include that. And in that sense, Sinner is actually winning just 40. So 4 out of 10. We've got 30 all in that Sinner service game. This could be pretty huge. He tried to serve and volley, but got past. Can't really blame him. I mean, it was a pretty good attempt. Maybe he could have covered the down the line corridor a bit better, but it was a pretty awesome passing shot from Medvedev. Just straight up on the run, forehand down the line. Sometimes you can't really expect it, I guess. Ooh, that's a great serve +1 though. Again, the serve out wide, just with how far Medvedev is standing, it just brings him out so far wide. And Sinner takes it with takes the point with a very sharp angled forehand +1 winner. Pretty brave. We haven't really seen him go for it as much, I think, so far, especially on an important point like that. Usually he sort of keeps himself in that cross court territory when it comes to the bigger forehands. This was, of course, as well cross court, but inside out from the backhand position. Will Sinner take this game? He will. Medvedev just completely shanks the forehand, and it's 4-all. I think Sinner is going to try to change his racket because we've just had the ball change, and he's going to return now against Medvedev. And we'll see how he handles this pretty poor game from Medvedev as well. Like a couple of just absolutely wild errors. Of course, he had that flashy pass, but yeah, definitely gave away a few points. Whereas it felt that especially after the trainer intervention, it felt like maybe he could pounce on Sinner in this one. Now it's Medvedev with a drop shot, and it's enough. Sinner had to get it pretty high into the air, and Medvedev takes it with a pretty weird-looking backhand drive volley. Well, it works, right? The same thing could be said about every single aspect of Medvedev's technique, I suppose. It works. So let's not look at the details. It works. And just a pretty good backhand down the middle also wins another point for Medvedev. Sinner tried to crouch, get low on his knees to win it. We have an average second serve speed stat on the screen, and I think I've mentioned it a few times already that Medvedev is definitely going for his second serves more than Sinner is. Again, it could be related to the fact to where they're standing, right? Because Sinner tries to take it early, Medvedev has to be a little more aggressive, while when Medvedev is in the back fence, it doesn't really change much if you just roll your second serve into the court. And an ace from Medvedev gives him a very, very easy hold, 49 or 48 minutes ish, and we are at 5-4. Zane says something. I'm constantly wondering about Tony Nadal assessment on the longevity of these players. Technology, aggressive playing style, ball change, court speed variation, hard courts. Nadal hasn't. I guess there's gonna be more coming because I forgot that I can show you comments on the screen. I'm still not used to being like the host, the producer, if you may. That's what Zane said. I think there's a second part probably coming. Because so far I'm struggling to get and give my opinion to it, I suppose. Yeah, and let's see how Sinner holds up in this pressure moment because he's gonna have to hold to stay in the set. He played for 3 hours on Friday, but That shouldn't really be a factor, right? Of the day off. You'd think so, at least. You'd hope so, maybe, and in order to have a competitive final. Yeah, and let me also check out that. Yeah, because I was thinking about this. Yeah, Sinner is just making 50% of his first serves right now, apparently. Which yeah, kind of explains how most of his games in this set so far have been tight. But he will want to find more here. He kind of needs to, because well, this is the moment. This is when it comes to the crunch, and this is where we'll check how he's gonna hold up. The first serve is missed, but he was clearly trying to serve and volley after it. Again, the serve looked wide, of course, this time to the forehand actually. And yeah, after the second serve, what is he going to do? Gets a pretty deep backhand down the middle, and eventually forces an error. This approach shot to Medvedev's forehand wasn't great, but it gives him the point. So who cares, I suppose. Average rally length on serve. That's an interesting stat as well from the TV crew, where we see that on Medvedev's serve so far, they've mostly played like the average rally between them is only 4 shots. On Sinner's, it's 7. But again, that's related to the low first serve percentage. Because yeah, with the way Sinner is just putting in his second serves, it's always going to be a rally. You just start these sort of points from neutral. You don't really get that much of an advantage in them. This time he landed the first serve, but also didn't really gain much out of it. Oh, that's a fantastic counter from Medvedev. He does have this game right now where he can swing a little bit more freely, and yeah, he's just done exactly that. Pretty fantastic on the run forehand to the well, against the legs of Sinner, and it gives him another point one over 9 in an over 9 shot rally. It's 8-4 right now in this statistic as well, which we also got from the TV crew. I'll check if what's the sort of base of stats on the ATP website, because they do that sometimes. That's a great serve from Sinner. He finds an ace to go 30-15 up. In this game, basically any free point that he can get would be huge for him, 100%. So free aces, 0 double faults from Sinner, and also free aces and 3 double faults. But about 3 double faults from Medvedev. Yeah, it looks like we have a lot of stats on the ATP website, so I will maybe refer to some of them at times. And Sinner also finds another pretty free point. He had to play the +1 forehand, but basically had like 3 direction choices, and 2 of them were gonna finish the point. So he handles that well. And we are about to watch hopefully the last. I mean, hopefully, yeah, we are about to watch the last point of the game. It's another ace for Sinner. So he has done this. Well, he handled this hold when he really needed to. So when he had to do it to serve in the set pretty well. And again, that's about making first serves. He made 4 out of 5. He hit 2 aces. In one point, he was just basically he set up for himself with the first serve. So and let's see what Medvedev does at 5-0. Very good +1 backhand this time. Also one of these like sort of inside in, but this one he was clearly much more comfortable at. I think it was more in his strike zone. But another double fault. Maybe it's Sinner, getting this much pressure on him because, well, the Italian was already ready was already waiting, to pounce on a second serve if Medvedev was about to give it to him, but he didn't. But there's an ace from Medvedev to go 30-15 up. Nothing Sinner could do. Just too well placed to have any sort of a chance of getting it back. And another ace. This one was perhaps, yeah, I mean, just as good, perhaps even more powerful. And suddenly we have a couple of very quick holds, it seems, in this match. We'll see if Medvedev actually takes that game, but he does. Sinner couldn't get the return over the net. Fantastic, like super quick service hold from Medvedev as well. So both guys in the past two games have gotten a lot of help from their first serves. I wanted to check this out. Yeah, Sinner played 4 drop shots so far. 2 of them were unforced errors, and the other 2 also didn't win in the point. Which yeah, we mentioned that earlier that he has felt very unnatural on the drop shot. The past few games he hasn't really used it, but I think he also never had a chance really. So it's going to be interesting to see later on if maybe that becomes a weapon of his again, or maybe he just drops the tactic altogether after the first few misses. Yeah, when it comes to like rally length, Medvedev is currently leading in every single department, which of course also comes from the fact that he has one game already over Sinner. But in general, he has won 9 points more than the Italian. So even if Sinner wins the next game for love, it's still going. I mean, to love, it's still going to be just a 5 point lead for Medvedev before the time break. Before the tiebreak, but then it's not gonna matter anyway. We're gonna be square even getting into that anyway, so we'll see. But he is leading 8-3 in the 5-8 shot rally length, and also 7-5 in the 9 plus, according to this ATP to these ATP stats from Infosys. I see that they differ from the ones that we've been getting on TV, but what can we really do about it? That's one of the things in tennis, I guess, that wherever you check the stats, you're probably gonna get different results. And let's see, Sinner, can he hold again with the pressure fully on himself? Not a good start. Just nets for a +1 forehand. It wasn't aggressive. It wasn't anything like that. Medvedev actually played it pretty deep at his feet. And love 15 in that sort of a game, it kind of hurts, right? Because it really drops your percentage chance of winning this. Can't land this first serve either. How will Medvedev try to approach it? Well, he approaches it like usual. And Sinner makes another error in just this backhand to backhand rally. So he's love 30 down. Was that like a grimace? I think it might have been. Again, the stats that we see on the screen in terms of unforced errors are just pretty wild. 924 for Sinner and 1314 for Medvedev. I think that's a bit of a stretch, but we're never gonna know without recounting. So, why? How does it really matter? Ugh. Okay. Again, wasn't exactly the perfect execution, maybe with that drive volley this time from the forehand, but it was deep enough that it still caused Medvedev to eventually net the shot. So Medvedev, Sinner is on the board in this game. Still needs 3 points to take this to a tiebreaker. Definitely needs to start landing more first serves in these sort of opportunities, and this one also doesn't go in. So that's the question right now. Medvedev is certainly trying to just keep hitting to Yannick's backhand. That's what he's been doing most of the match, and it works. Well, Sinner eventually shanks the shot. Whatever whatever the ball was in that rally that Sinner got to him, Medvedev just hit it straight to his backhand again. In the first few games of this match, we saw Sinner just trying to break out of these rallies very he was very active. Whenever this started happening, he just went down the line instantly. Not anymore. I don't know if that's the moment, the pressure, sort of just making him play more conventionally. Good first serve here, but he does net the next forehand. Again, maybe you could think that there was a forehand down the line opening here. I wouldn't blame you if you do. But Sinner tries to again. Maybe he has been conventional, I would say, in his choices. And can you really do that against Medvedev? I'm not sure. But we'll see. 7-5 Medvedev anyway after exactly an hour. And yeah, let's think about. Let's think about what we've seen so far. It's not looking that bright for Sinner, right? He has shown some signs of physical issues, some signs of physical issues. He lost 12 points more than Medvedev in this set, which is pretty crazy given that it was 7-5, frankly. Because even if you, I don't know, even if you win both of these additional games for one, you would still have six additional points for the Russian. Definitely not making that many first serves, 52%. He is going for it, but still, you would usually expect to make more. 8 out of 20 on the second serve points won. Not terrible, but I think that's one of the aspects of this match that we sort of expected Sinner to be more prolific, more efficient in. His first serve, while really improved this year, hasn't really given him much in this matchup at all. So far. Medvedev, on the other hand, is also not making that many first serves, but when he is winning the points 86% of the time. And his second serve points one stat being, just 53% is still massively brought down by the 4 double faults. So, yeah, it doesn't seem like it, but Medvedev outside of that one game was just holding really smoothly in this set, and it put the pressure on Sinner. And even though he, of course, had that break, but then lost it instantly, it hasn't amassed too much. Yeah, it's not looking that bright. I mean, with a 1 hour opening set, with him already taking some pills, we will see how this works out for him. But certainly, Medvedev has to be pretty happy with this start, even though he hasn't played at his absolute peak. That was a soft break of serve by Sinner. You have to come alive at these moments, and unfortunately, he was the opposite. Yeah, whereas in the first few games, maybe in the middle of the set, he was like proactively trying to break out of these patterns that he doesn't enjoy with Medvedev. Here, he was just hoping that Daniil was gonna miss. He did not. It was Sinner who missed every single time. And yeah, it's 7-5 Medvedev, and we'll see how this match looks after the break. They're already back on the court, and Medvedev is about to serve. That was an interesting shot from Sinner. I have no clue if it was going to be a slice, a drop shot, whatever. Less said about how it looked, the better. Yeah, this was a pretty good one from Sinner. Not going conventional again, firing that big backhand down the line. Very nice combination from that. Sorry, not backhand, but forehand inside in. First a huge backhand cross court, and then just that finish, but also done 100% right. And this was a very nice combination where he risked, and it worked out perfectly. That's a couple of good first serves from Medvedev, and he gets the first game on the board in set two. There's like a look from Medvedev on Sinner. I don't know if he's trying to like see how Jannik is gonna act, maybe. Whether he's going to be just, motivated, or whether he's going to be just a little down after losing that opener. I think at the beginning, when I was for just before the match started for like 10 minutes talking about the match, and like what I thought was like keys to win. One of the things that I mentioned was that Sinner had to serve well. It hasn't really materialized, so that's definitely a big reason why he's falling behind in this one, because Medvedev, for how good he is off the baseline, he is also going pretty massive on his serve, and even though he's also not landing that many of them, he is still, when they land, they're winning him the point. Sinner, not necessarily. And he is just not beating Medvedev in neutral rallies. He is the one who needs to come up with something. And so far, especially in the key moments, as Matthew mentioned a few minutes ago, he was just more likely to return to his usual ways, let's say, rather than try to do something, just try to be inventive, try to be creative, which is also another thing we haven't really seen from him. Like, there's been a few serve and volleys, there's been a few drop shots, but the drop shots were executed very poorly. There's been a few slices that also were, I mean, you could see he's not fully comfortable. Did he land this forehand? I think Medvedev thought he missed. And that's a pretty great rally, but Medvedev wins it with this drop shot. Sinner did get to it, but just couldn't put the ball back into the court. This looks like a very tough match for Sinner to win from here. I think he's more bothered by the humidity than Medvedev as well, which is going to make a comeback attempt harder. If he goes like love 3 down in this set, do we think that he has the ability to come back from this? I don't know. Optimistically, yeah, like realistically, I don't know. That's a let, I believe, or was that out? Really? Okay, it seems like it was out. So even more trouble for Sinner coming up, because he again needs to win the neutral rally, which in the last few games has not been, he hasn't been getting the results in them at all. This time he did try a few angles though. Yeah, but Medvedev just outgrinds him in this one again. Plays another contre-pied shot, which Sinner is just barely getting his racket on. Does not seem to be good. Yeah, going strong physically at all. Um, I don't know if that's like a cramp or something, but he has just touched his thigh as well. Yeah, this doesn't look like this match will last that much longer, to be honest with you. But maybe if he can still save this game. So far, he landed a great serve down the tee, and maybe he can still survive in this one. And then, of course, if we're still even in the score, or maybe if he breaks right back in the next game, then we can still look into the future with some sort of optimistic thoughts that maybe this match will continue, but we'll see. I mean, I'm not saying he's going to retire. Who knows? But I'm just saying that, yeah, if he falls behind, and he does, again, he cannot really win neutral rallies at the moment. Then it's going to be very hard for him to come back from this. He played a slice as well in this one, and again, you could see how uncomfortable he was with it. Yeah, I mean, it's clear right now that he's not feeling well physically. Darren Cahill is still trying to like clap a bit, try to get him going. We'll see if that's how that's going to work out. If Medvedev consolidates, then 7-5 free love, and probably, well, the match might be done. That's a very nice change of pace from Sinner, just sort of net rushes. And eventually he does get the point. That was pretty nice. Of course, a little risky, but this is the sort of tactics I guess we would like him to use here. And that volley was actually great. Like, you wouldn't really be able to tell that he's not. Well, the last one didn't have much control on it, but the first one, it was executed spot on technically. This sort of nice backhand motion. And Medvedev tries to serve and volley this time, I think on his second serve, but Sinner finds a very sharp backhand cross court angle, which yeah, Medvedev just had no shot at getting to. This was a bit careless, I suppose, from Medvedev. He kind of gives Sinner a chance to come back here with this sort of strategy. This was, according to the TV graphics, it was Sinner's first. This was Sinner's first backhand winner of the match. Interestingly, on the ATP stats, we still don't have it. So yeah, as I said, it's the stats in tennis are a mess a lot of the time, for sure. Medvedev gets 1 point back on the board, and I also saw that there's a question from Matthew that I think I'm gonna talk about it in the during the changeover, because it seems like it requires a longer answer. There's a second serve from Medvedev, so Sinner has a look here. If he wins this point, of course, it's 2 break points back, and like he would still be alive, let's say. And he has these 2 break points. The return was not great at all. It was just standing right there for Medvedev to hit it off the backhand, but it clipped the net, went out, and we have 2 break points for Sinner. So maybe this match isn't dead yet. If Sinner wins this game, he still will have a realistic chance of coming back in this set. I mean, he will be even if he then holds. Will Medvedev help him out again? He does. Head Sinner, just stretched there. Head Sinner on the defense. Very energetic fist pump from Jannik, which is great because it kind of tells us that he still has fight in him. In the last game, there were moments when he looked like he might not. But he is very tired. That's for sure. Is there any issue physically for Sinner where he's required to win back-to-back matches against elite players? Given the fact that he was playing, he had a day of rest on Saturday. I don't know. In general, the guy has been injured a lot, right? And they haven't been injuries, the kind that keep you out for half a year. They haven't been the kind of injuries where Dominic Thiem had, or I don't know, Juan Martin del Potro, right? They've been small issues that sometimes come into play. Humidity can be a factor as well, right? Miami is very humid. But then again, the guy just won a 3-hour match against Alcaraz, who was in worse physical shape than Sinner was. So I guess it's also somehow strictly random at times. But it definitely has to be said that over the course of his career, he has struggled with like small physical issues a lot. And that's something that he has had to deal with. That's something that we are maybe hoping he is he has dealt with already. He is very, he is very slim. He is like very slender, right? This sort of we've seen many players for whom with this sort of body type who also have these physical issues. I always wondered if this is somehow connected. I think it could be. Recently, I was thinking about these two Hungarians who, well, out of these 98, 99 generation of Hungarians, which they have right now, all of them are, basically challenger players. Hopefully, soon enough, Maroshan will break into the top 100, although he lost in Oeiras qualifying today. Sorry, Oeiras, Estoril. Um, all three of them have very similar physique, maybe even more like pencil-like than Sinner. And two of them, Valkus and Piros, have been like injured all the time throughout their careers. Maroshan, on the other hand, has stayed very pretty much healthy. So I don't know. For sure, it's not a 1% type of deal, but I think this sort of physique can lead to more injuries for sure than maybe for some players that are just more athletic. Sinner has like maybe the physique of a skier, right? Which is well, he was a skier as a kid. um, and I guess that's like more what I picture him as. Although as a skier in like slalom or one of the more technical competitions rather than downhill, he is no Body Miller, right? He wouldn't be just dragged down the slope by gravity. I'm very glad that I was able to mention Body Miller in the tennis stream. Was that really out? I guess it was. And Sinner loses like another, yeah, just neutral rally down the middle. Again, very conventional in how he plays it, and that's something that's just not gonna give him success against Medvedev. That's something that has already failed him against Medvedev a few times. Have we seen enough, mixing up? Have we seen enough changes in his game plan from Sinner today? I wouldn't say so. Then again, it's kind of hard to judge him without knowing what like the exact nature of his physical issue is. If it's just the humidity, if it's just something that he started feeling during the match, because well, if you're not 100%, then it's hard to expect some crazy ideas and like good tactics, right? You're mostly gonna be focusing on just staying all right, like just standing up and etc. Right? That's how you play with a cold. Why am I wearing? I just realized why am I wearing headphones if Mario isn't here? Um, or earphones, more like. Sinner tries to drop shot again. It doesn't work. I think he hasn't after a drop shot yet in this match, which yeah, is something that certainly has been one of the issues. The fact that when he's trying to introduce like the simplest variety possible, right? Not even like different directions in terms of his baseline play, but just the simplest variety possible: the drop shot, the slice, the volley. Volleys have been pretty okay, but droppers and the slices, you can see he's just uncomfortable playing them. Is just not in his repertoire. And there's another backhand error from the Italian, which gives Medvedev the break back. It's a stick figure versus stick figure Miami final. Yeah, sort of, but Medvedev has never really had these issues, right? I mean, you saw you're saying that you've seen Medvedev cramp plenty, and it's true, like it happens, but it hasn't really been like something that has been hampering his career, right? And for Sinner, certainly. Um, I a lot of people are trying to argue that if Sinner didn't have all these physical issues last year, then maybe he would have been as good as he is right now already in 2022. One of these things we'll never know. well, like it's a very subjective manner, and it's something that we can only realistically guess on. But um, for sure, the physicality has been more of an issue for him in his career than something that's actually helped him, compared to most other players, and compared to Medvedev, I guess, who just hasn't really struggled with it that much. Of course, Sinner is also a few years younger. Medvedev reached the top level a lot later than Sinner, so perhaps his body was also just more ready for the tough work that you need to put in, right? If Rafa, yeah, if doesn't exist, that's true. What happened in Miami happened. What happened in Indian Wells happened. Now we're in still in Miami, but we already sort of feel like we are going to be in Estoril, Marrakesh, and Houston in a second, frankly, because well, Medvedev is 2 points away from a 4-1 lead. Oh, sorry, 1 point away from a 4-1 lead. I wanted to say that he has 2 game points for a 4-1 lead. And again, Sinner is not looking like a player who will come back, who like has the physical capability to come back here. But maybe he can keep this interesting. He just wins one more game, and again he has a chance to come back if he just breaks Medvedev once. So we'll see how much fight he still has left in him. Hopefully a lot, because otherwise this can be another Miami final with just nothing to write home about. Yeah, it's been continuously like more like it's been easier in the last few games to just get errors out of Sinner in neutral base in rallies, which I think is just part of him struggling a bit. Because well, uh, he's just not getting to the sort of balls on the slide as he was. I'm interested to see like what Twitter is saying about it. Haven't been reading it, of course. Interesting that Jannik Sinner has gained 7 pounds of muscle from 2022 to 2023, says someone on Twitter. I think that was before he started struggling. I wonder, like, what? Ginger walking gingerly. Yeah, that's very true. Um, just wonder if anyone has like any, heard maybe what he was talking about to the trainer or something like that. Good, nice tweet from Emil Rusevori, because Otto Virtanen won his third challenger title today, and he's like getting very close to the top 100. And Emil tweeted that he has a feeling that he'll have Finnish company in the singles to top 100 soon. Yeah, it would be pretty cool, like right, to have two Finns in the top 100. I wonder if that's ever happened, like along with Jarkko Nieminen. I doubt there was a Finn. Probably wasn't also like Nieminen was already retired by the time Rusev reached the top 100. I'm talking about this because, of course, it's a changeover. Nothing really interesting from on Twitter, I suppose. Um, yeah, nothing really about the potential reasons for, just people saying that it's over. And pretty good tweet from Gil, who was also mentioned by Matthew earlier, who just says that both players were struggling with the weather conditions in the first set, and I totally agree with this. But Medvedev just holds without winning rallies, and Sinner needs to win. Just longer points to get holds. So there's another one of these on Sinner's serve, but he is 15 love up, so nothing really is gonna happen to him if he loses this point. He tries to go for the backhand down the line, and I think he just misses it. But of course, that's the sort of idea that we would welcome from him if he was fully Well, fully fit physically right now. Close call, but not not close enough. Of course, you're not gonna change the mind of the machine. Let's say that. There's some insights on the TV graphics about conversion. I think that's like within a point where Sinner is at 44% today, which makes sense if I can truly grasp what this conversion stat actually means. But I think I do. I believe I do. But my belief might not be true. So Sinner this time goes to the net, and well, the volley was just not good enough again. He's just not comfortable in these. Anytime he tries to introduce the simplest possible ways for variety, which you can come up with, he just doesn't look good at them. But again, kind of hard to blame it on him because he clearly is also not thinking like straight right now. And Ace though gives him the game point to go 2-4 down in this set. He is fighting. Like you can definitely appreciate this. He hasn't given up at all, and a very good serve should give him the points. Okay. The direction choice on the forehand there was pretty terrible, but Medvedev doesn't make that backhand over the net. So it is 4-2. Medvedev, he needs to hold to go 5-2 up. Maybe there's still some hope, but we shall see. Sorry, just telling someone when the qualifying ranking deadline for the Round Girls qualities. Anyway, Medvedev just won the first point. Whew, that first serve was. Oh, sorry, that was the second. Was quite far out. 90 miles per hour and like a huge trajectory. But of course, he's still 15 all. That serve was apparently in. From my position here, I would question a lot of these calls. Oh, actually, this one I would be right to question because they showed it on the close call and it was just like, you know, basically impossible to see with the human eye. So I guess it's good we have these machines. They definitely make things clearer and more just it's just impossible at least it should be impossible to make an error, so it makes things more transparent, more clear. The better player wins the match. And sometimes a poor call from the umpire can definitely steer the just the encounter in one's favor. And Medvedev, another huge serve. So this is kind of what we've been talking about. Medvedev gets so many free points on serve, but also wins the rallies. So in this sort of scenario, it's hard to give Sinner any chances to come back because you just don't know how he should win points, right? Like he's just yeah. Medvedev is winning all the longer rallies in this set. Of course, he's also winning the shorter ones because he's been pretty dominant, and at the same time, he's just getting more out of his serve. So, where do you look for any Where do you look for any things like that? I mean, yeah, Jane is correct to say that Heliovara is in the doubles top 100, but I was of course thinking about the singles one. But fair, right? We should remember that. Of course, he's also one of the best doubles players in the world, but maybe it happened in doubles in the past. I'm not sure if Finns had any good doubles players, frankly, before Nieminen or outside of Nieminen. But I doubt it's happened in singles, so it could be a pretty historical achievement for Finland if Vitanen is to break the top 100, and he will probably soon. But that's gonna be a nice story, I guess. I will probably try to look up like if it's possible that at any given moment there were two Finns inside the top 100. But I would assume it was just Nieminen and then Rusuvuori in the singles top 100. Ginger walking gingerly. Yeah, yeah, very, very, very right. If Zverev hadn't got injured against Nadal at Roland Garros last year, do you think they would have finished by now? Yeah, I think they probably would have finished in like 7 hours, and then Kasper Ruud would have beaten Alexander Zverev in the final, and Kasper Ruud would have been a Grand Slam champion. Kasper Ruud would have been the world number one. I don't actually think that, but it's a funny thought. A lot of different things could have happened. Now, can Sinner win one more game? Can Sinner win two more games? That's what we're going to find out soon. Can Sinner win the match? Not looking bright. Points won on serve. They've actually played 59 points on serve each, and Medvedev has won 40 and Sinner has won 30. But, since the end of the first set, basically, we've talked about how the stats have really favored Medvedev, but this is just obvious. I mean, he's winning a lot more rallies right now. Sinner does play a pretty ballsy +1 forehand now, and he gets 30 love up in the 2-5 game. So he is fighting for it. As I said, he is still, even though his chances look kind of slim, he is still giving his best and trying to get back on the scoreboard. Second serve points won in set two. They've actually both. I guess that means they have also both improved their first serve percentages. But Sinner has only won 1 out of 8. Medvedev 2 out of 8. And Sinner gets it to 3-5. So, again, a pretty commendable effort. But we're gonna see if it's gonna amount to something. If maybe Medvedev is just gonna let him into that service game. Sinner is still like, maybe not fist pumping. This was with his racket, but he is trying to motivate himself for this game. Unfortunately, another short point for Medvedev, so this final might be getting to an end. Now Sinner is in the point, and of course, this was one of these where Medvedev gets a short response of his serve, but can't really convert it with the way he plays. But Sinner makes that forehand error. He was trying to be pretty aggressive and push Medvedev wide to his backhand corner, but just missed. 2 points away from the Miami Open title is Daniil Medvedev, of course. And now just 1 point away, 40 love up. It's been 1 hour and 34 minutes as Medvedev prepares to serve match point up, and he gets it. There's a big smile on the Russian's face. He actually celebrates this title. Sends the ball into the crowd, and talks with Sinner a bit. Not sure about what, but yeah, looks like some message of support from the Russian, who of course is very considerate in that way. And that's it. Ghosty says he's back. Not the right timing. The match has just finished. What else can we really say about this? What did you all do to my little skinny bunny encased by fire in the shadow of the Alps? Well, the humidity, the fact that he wasn't serving quite well, and of course, Medvedev just, him not really being able to break out of the conventional rallying patterns caused him to fall behind a lot in this one. Pretty disappointing final, frankly. I can't really blame that on Sinner fully because he clearly wasn't 100%. But of course, we were expecting more from this one. That kind of has to be said. Both the finals in Indian Wells and Miami were pretty disappointing. One, what? Give me the code word by, and I will seize control. So are you like coming in after this one? By using a couple of videos. So I will just say that Indian Wells and Miami both have had pretty disappointing finals. Pretty cool that Medvedev was on one end and then actually was the one taking the final. Of course, both of these guys, as I said, I mean, if you were to name the 4 best players of the year, you'd think about Tsitsipas, but right now you'd probably go Sinner, Medvedev, Alcaraz, Djokovic. So still pretty cool that they all made finals at Indian Wells and Miami, of course, but Djokovic, who wasn't allowed to enter the United States. I guess that's gonna be it. Thanks as always for staying in, sitting here in the chat, for your comments, for your opinions, which were all very interesting to read. And see you on some other Talking Tennis stream. And this is the code word for you, John.
If you enjoyed this video, make sure you hit that like button. Don't forget to subscribe and click that notification bell so you don't miss out on all things tennis. If you enjoyed this video, make sure you hit that like button. Don't forget to subscribe and click that notification bell so you don't miss out on all things tennis. there's one match from Rafa's story where you think that was a missed opportunity, there was a big chance.
I have matches,
2
or 3 in Australian Open. No more. We lose the opportunity in Wimbledon against Djokovic in semi-final.
2018.
Then we lose the opportunity more important because that was semi-final. We lose the opportunity in Australian Open. In the Australian Open 2014, 2012 and 2017.
Yeah.
In 14 because he has an injury against Wawrinka that before he had never lose against him. Then with Djokovic and Federer, he had breakup in the fifth.
Yeah.
And 40-30 or 30-50, I don't remember well. It was a ball very close, goes. But this is what happened. There was in Roland Garros 2009. Of course, he I am sure that he won. He will win. He won this tournament when he has no problems in his knee, because at this moment he was the best. He won Australian Open, then he won the tournaments on clay, and he arrived with problems in Roland Garros. For this reason, in my opinion, he lose. But there are others time that maybe he has to lose and he won.
If there's one match from Rafa's story where you think that was a missed opportunity, there was a big chance.
I have matches,
2
or 3 in Australian Open. No more. We lose the opportunity in Wimbledon against Djokovic in semi-final.
2018.
Then we lose the opportunity more important because that was semi-final. We lose the opportunity in Australian Open. In the Australian Open 2014, 2012 and 2017.
Yeah.
In 14 because he has an injury against Wawrinka that before he had never lose against him. Then with Djokovic and Federer, he had breakup in the fifth.
Yeah.
And 40-30 or 30-50, I don't remember well. It was a ball very close, goes. But this is what happened. There was in Roland Garros 2009. Of course, he I am sure that he won. He will win. He won this tournament when he has no problems in his knee, because at this moment he was the best. He won Australian Open, then he won the tournaments on clay, and he arrived with problems in Roland Garros. For this reason, in my opinion, he lose. But there are others time that maybe he has to lose and he won.
If there's one match from Rafa's story where you think that was a missed opportunity, there was a big chance.
I have matches,
2
or 3 in Australian Open. No more. We lose the opportunity in Wimbledon against Djokovic in semi-final.
2018.
Then we lose the opportunity more important because that was semi-final. We lose the opportunity in Australian Open. In the Australian Open 2014, 2012, and 2017.
Yeah.
In 14 because he has an injury against Babrinka that before he had never lose against him. Then with Djokovic and Federer, he had breakup in the fifth.
Yeah.
And 40-30 or 30-50. I don't remember well. It was a ball very close, goes. But this is what happened. There was in Roland Garros 2009. Of course, he I am sure that he won. He will win. He won this tournament when he has no problems in his knee, because at this moment he was the best. He won Australian Open, then he won the tournaments on clay, and he arrived with problems in Roland Garros. For this reason, in my opinion, he lose. But there are others time that maybe he has to lose and he won.
If there's one match from Rafa's story where you think that was a missed opportunity, there was a big chance.
There have matches,
2
or 3 in Australian Open. No more. We lose the opportunity in Wimbledon against Djokovic in semi-final.
2018.
Then we lose the opportunity more important because that was semi-final. We lose the opportunity in Australian Open. In the Australian Open 2014, 2012, and 2017.
Yeah.
In 14 because he has an injury against Babrinka that before he had never lose against him. Then with Djokovic and Federer, he had breakup in the fifth.
Yeah.
And 40-30 or 30-50. I don't remember well. It was a ball very close, goes. But this is what happened. There was in Roland Garros 2009. Of course, he I am sure that he won. He will win. He won this tournament when he has no problems in his knee, because at this moment he was the best. He won Australian Open, then he won the tournaments on clay, and he arrived with problems in Roland Garros. For this reason, in my opinion, he lose. But there are others time that maybe he has to lose and he won.
If there's one match from Rafa's story where you think that was a missed opportunity, there was a big chance. There
have matches,
2
or 3 in Australian Open. No more. We lose the opportunity in Wimbledon against Djokovic in semi-final.
2018.
Then we lose the opportunity more important because that was semi-final. We lose the opportunity in Australian Open. In the Australian Open 2014, 2012, and 2017.
Yeah.
In 14 because he has an injury against Babrinka that before he had never lose against him. Then with Djokovic and Federer, he had breakup in the fifth.
Yeah.
and 40-30 or 30-50. I don't remember well. It was a ball very close, goes, but this is what happened. There was in Roland Garros 2009. Of course, he I am sure that he won. He will win. He won this tournament when he has no problems in his knee, because at this moment he was the best. He won Australian Open, then he won the tournaments on clay, and he arrived with problems in Roland Garros. For this reason, in my opinion, he lose. But there are others time that maybe he has to lose and he won.
If there's one match from Rafa's story where you think that was a missed opportunity, there was a big chance. There
have matches,
2
or 3 in Australian Open. No more. We lose the opportunity in Wimbledon against Djokovic in semi-final.
2018.
Then we lose the opportunity more important because that was semi-final. We lose the opportunity in Australian Open. In the Australian Open 2014, 2012 and 2017.
Yeah.
In 14 because he has an injury against Wawrinka that before he had never lose against him. Then with Djokovic and Federer, he had breakup in the 5th.
Yeah.
And 40-30 or 30-50. I don't remember well. It was a ball very close, goes, but this is what happened. There was in Roland Garros 2009. Of course, he I am sure that he won. He will win. He won this tournament when he has no problems in his knee, because at this moment he was the best. He won Australian Open, then he won the tournaments on clay, and he arrived with problems in Roland Garros. For this reason, in my opinion, he lose. But there are others time that maybe he has to lose and he won.
If there's one match from Rafa's story where you think that was a missed opportunity, there was a big chance. There
have matches,
2
or 3 in Australian Open. No more. We lose the opportunity in Wimbledon against Djokovic in semi-final.
2018.
Then we lose the opportunity more important because that was semi-final. We lose the opportunity in Australian Open. In the Australian Open 2014, 2012 and 2017.
Yeah.
In 14 because he has an injury against Wawrinka that before he had never lose against him. Then with Djokovic and Federer, he had breakup in the 5th.
Yeah.
And 40-30 or 30-50. I don't remember well. It was a ball very close, goes, but this is what happened. There was in Roland Garros 2009. Of course, he I am sure that he won. He will win. He won this tournament when he has no problems in his knee, because at this moment he was the best. He won Australian Open, then he won the tournaments on clay, and he arrived with problems in Roland Garros. For this reason, in my opinion, he lose. But there are others time that maybe he has to lose and he won.
If there's one match from Rafa's story where you think that was a missed opportunity, there was a big chance there
I have matches,
two.
or three in Australian Open. No more. We lose the opportunity in Wimbledon against Djokovic in semi-final.
2018.
Then we lose the opportunity more important because that was semi-final. We lose the opportunity in Australian Open. In the Australian Open 2014, 2012, and 2017.
Yeah.
In 14 because he has an injury against Babrinka that before he had never lose against him. Then with Djokovic and Federer, he had breakup in the fifth.
Yeah.
And 40-30 or 30-50, I don't remember well. It was a ball very close, goes. But this is what happened. There was in Roland Garros 2009. Of course, I am sure that he won. He will win. He won this tournament when he has no problems in his knee, because at this moment he was the best. He won Australian Open, then he won the tournaments on clay, and he arrived with problems in Roland Garros. For this reason, in my opinion, he lose. But there are others time that maybe he has to lose and he won.
If there's one match from Rafa's story where you think that was a missed opportunity, there was a big chance there
I have matches,
two.
or three in Australian Open. No more. We lose the opportunity in Wimbledon against Djokovic in semi-final.
2018.
Then we lose the opportunity more important because that was semi-final. We lose the opportunity in Australian Open. In the Australian Open 2014, 2012, and 2017.
Yeah.
In 14 because he has an injury against Babrinka that before he had never lose against him. Then with Djokovic and Federer, he had breakup in the fifth.
Yeah.
And 40-30 or 30-50, I don't remember well. It was a ball very close, goes. But this is what happened. There was in Roland Garros 2009. Of course, I am sure that he won. He will win. He won this tournament when he has no problems in his knee, because at this moment he was the best. He won Australian Open, then he won the tournaments on clay, and he arrived with problems in Roland Garros. For this reason, in my opinion, he lose. But there are others time that maybe he has to lose and he won.
if there's one match from Rafa's story where you think that was a missed opportunity, there was a big chance. There
have matches,
2
or 3 in Australian Open. No more. We lose the opportunity in Wimbledon against Djokovic in semi-final.
2018.
Then we lose the opportunity, more important because that was semi-final. We lose the opportunity in Australian Open. In the Australian Open 2014, 2012 and 2017.
Yeah.
In 14 because he has an injury against Wawrinka that before he had never lose against him. Then with Djokovic and Federer, he had breakup in the 5th.
Yeah.
And 40-30 or 30-50. I don't remember well. It was a ball very close, goes up. But this is what happened. There was in Roland Garros 2009. Of course, he I am sure that he won. He will he won this tournament when he has no problems in his knee, because at this moment he was the best. He won Australian Open, then he won the tournaments on clay, and he arrived with problems in Roland Garros. For this reason, in my opinion, he lose. But there are others time that maybe he has to lose and he won.